Hey guys, I looked around the net at some of the City Crossfire SRS sole replacement system. Some videos on how to do it, and I didn't really like any of them, so I thought I'd do my own. I've had these City Crossfires, they're the original Crossfire ones, for about 6 odd years. I got them at a great price through a Supermoto club. And they have been truly awesome. They're a fantastic boot. They're easy to walk around in. I can wear them for days. They're really comfortable, and I'm about to wear them on quite a big 5,000 kilometre trip across part of Australia. And I had a look at the soles, and I thought, you know what, these things are worn out. I really should be replacing them, so I picked up some replacement soles, and this is actually the first time I've changed these soles in 6 years, and it was pretty easy, and I think the system is fantastic. So there's a whole bunch of screws on each sole, and they're not actually screws, they're just a T-shaped piece on the bottom of the screw, which you'll see in a minute, which clicks into rubber. So even though the screw does rust, corrode, it never will jam up. You can always get it off. So as you can see, I did this one already, and then I went, gee, I should make a video of this. So here to show you how it's done. So you'll need a couple of tools. You'll need some screwdrivers, all flat bladed of various sizes. I used a pair of pliers. I didn't use tire levers, but you'll see what I did use them for in a minute. I've got some CRC here to give the original screws a bit of a clean up, because that's all they need. And I've got a little bit of grease. I don't know if this is really necessary, but I thought it was a good idea, and I'll explain why shortly. So the first thing you're really going to need to do is, after some years of abuse, these screws, the slot in the screw is going to be all caked up with dirt and gravel and crap. So you're going to want to scrape them out, because you don't want to be stripping the head off one of these. Okay, so once that's done, you want to turn all of the screws 90 degrees. That's as far as you need to turn them, and then we can lever the sole off. Now, I just realized I did actually turn a bunch of these previously. Just to work out how in the hell you get these soles off before I ordered the new ones. That's another good point. I've ordered these sort of motocross soles, which are quite chunky. You can reorder the road soles, which are reasonably flat, quite soft rubber. It's pretty grippy actually. And then there's the Supermoto soles, which have quite a large piece off the side that you can scrape on the ground without destroying your boot like I've started to there. So you're going to want to turn all of these screws so that the slot is moved from vertical to horizontal. Don't worry about trying to spray these with CRC or anything, because there's not a steel on steel thread, so you don't have to worry about it. So next, once all of these have been turned horizontal, we just pull the sole off. And look at that, it's that easy. Yeah, so you can see that these screws here, they're like a screw on the top, and on the bottom they're a T-piece, and that actually latches into the bottom of the boot. So in the bottom of the boot we have basically a key, and so that pin obviously turns in there, and once you've turned it 90 degrees it's not coming out. So next what you want to do is get all of these, recover all of these screws, and I found the easiest way was to sort of bend your sole in half, grab a pair of pliers and rip these puppies out. Yeah, so the 5 at the top actually have this little spiky piece which grabs a hold of the boot. I believe it's so that the toe doesn't get peeled off as easily when you're dragging your boots through the dirt. So then this piece, stick it to your wall, throw it in the bin, whatever you want to do. So then you're left with these screws, some of which have a little bit of corrosion on them, so I decided I would give them a bit of a soak in some CRC. Okay, so now we want to get these screws into this sole, and I can tell you that they are a very tight fit. They only just fit into that slot. The other thing that you'll see is that the back side of these holes is not quite punched through. So when you put these in, line them up, and then you need to push them in far enough that they'll pop through. So this is where I just came up with, I use my tire irons, but you can use anything, of course. Something just to have keep the bottom of the sole just off the table. Push this thing through. Yep. Click through. And that is how I want it. Do I want them all pointing up and down? Yes, I do. So I'll go ahead and put those in, making sure that the ones with the little claws go in those top 5. So what you'll see here is that these little pins have pushed through the plastic themselves. They don't take much effort to pop through, but a couple of them haven't quite yet. I haven't pushed them in far enough, so you can just give them a bit more of a tweak and give them a bit of a turn if you want. Click. I heard plastic tear there. There you go. So yeah, just make sure that they're all fully poking through. So once you're happy that they're all poking through adequately, this is probably a step that is completely unnecessary, but I thought I'd do it just because I'm too cheap to go and buy the new screw sets. I'll just use the old ones. I mean, they look in pretty good condition, but I don't want them corroding away on the inside of the boot from water or moisture in there. So all I'm going to do is get a bit of grease and just dab it on the ends. This is not so that they come out easier later. It's just a bit of moisture protection. Hopefully they just don't corrode away quite as quickly, although this boot looks pretty good. The other one definitely had more corrosion on some of these pins. Okay, the next step is to put the sole on. Line it up roughly. Get one of these pins in, probably, start at one of the ends is probably a good idea. And make sure it's on, that's on. And then I just worked my way up the boot from one end to the other. I've seen someone did a video of zigzagging backwards and forwards, but I think that's completely unnecessary. It's a rubber sole on a boot. It doesn't really, tightening sequence doesn't really matter because they're either locked in or they're not. So anyway, I'll go through and do them up. Some of them you will find takes a bit of pressure to make sure that they're clicked in. Probably just check every now and again that make sure they've gone in, but they do go in without too much difficulty. And there you have it. That is on tight as you know what. So there you go, new soles. I have worn out the toe on mine. Now thinking about a bit of fiberglass or something just to build that up, although I don't want to completely permanently bond my sole on. I don't know. Any suggestions? Let me know. Anyway, thanks for that. Hope it helps some people. Catch you later.